Japan has a new prime minister, Mr. Shigeru Ishiba. Shigeru Ishiba is a nationalist like the people before him, like Shinzo Abe, but he's more extreme than Abe. He wants America to leave Japan. Now, what did I say about American isolationism and the rise of it? It's not just America. The Japanese are telling the Americans, we want you out. The Germans are telling the Americans, we want you out. And Trump is saying, we're going to get out. So it's a global phenomena, guys. It really is a global phenomena. So I'm going to read some parts of this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the highlights here. Mr. Ishiba, who was known for his plain-spoken opinions and extreme interest in military equipment, defeated Miss Takaichi 215 to 194 in voting at the party's headquarters in Tokyo. So he won the election. He also said he would like to form an Asian version of NATO to ensure regional security and to renegotiate Japan's alliance with the United States to make it more equal. You see, it's all changing. All right, see you later, goods. It's all changing, guys. And here's another article here. I want to show you this here. Ishiba, by contrast, chafes at the asymmetrical aspects of the alliance. Japan hosts some 55,000 U.S. troops on its territory, shouldering 75% of the operating cost of U.S. bases. I don't think Japan is a truly independent nation. It's not, Ishiba said in a book published in August. Ishiba floated a number of ideas to redo the alliance in a candidates debate in Okinawa, the southern island that hosts most of U.S. troops in Japan. He suggested that U.S. bases could be converted to joint U.S.-Japanese operation. He has objected to treaty restrictions limiting Japan's access to U.S. bases and equipment, such as when a U.S. military aircraft crashes in Japan. In his book, he proposes stationing Japanese troops permanently on U.S. soil, perhaps on the Pacific island of Guam, to make the alliance more equal. He also has advocated an Asian version of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization to boost deterrence against aggressors. So this is Japan's new prime minister. This is who the politicians in Japan's parliament chose to be the prime minister. They want more nationalism. They want more independence from American power. So Americans are saying, we don't want to police the world anymore. The Japanese are saying, we don't want you to police us. The Germans are saying the same thing. The whole thing is, the world is changing. And what's this going to lead to? Eventually, what I think it's going to lead to is Japanese militarism. And Japan becoming a major military force in East Asia. And the Americans are going to be for it because it'll be the check against China. Ishiba said Japan would be ignored if it simply pledged total fealty to Washington. You don't have to play golf with President Trump or go to Trump Tower. It's important to make them think Japan is formidable, and we need to have cards to play for a deal. So that's what's happening in Japan, the rise of Japanese militarism. You see it in this article as well. On Wednesday, a Japanese destroyer reportedly crossed the Taiwan Strait as a countermeasure to China under the orders of his predecessor, Fumio Kishida, officials told Japan's Yomiuri newspaper. The same day, China carried out its first known test of an intercontinental ballistic missile into the Pacific Ocean in more than 4 decades. However, Japan's military is beset by recruiting challenges and is experiencing manpower shortages. So Japan can easily fix this problem by just putting a draft, because Japanese people are very obedient people. They love following laws. So you tell the Japanese, you're going to be in the military, they're going to follow through. They're going to acquiesce. Japan, if it has to, can amass an army of literally millions of young men. We are going back to Japanese militarism. We are going back to German nationalism / German militarism. And that's the world that we're going to. We are, in a way, returning to history. America is tired of policing the world. And the whole thing between Trump and the Democrats, guys, it really is a struggle between the neocons / neoliberals and isolationists. So there you have it. And we see Turkish troops in Iraq. We see a war between Hezbollah and Israel. It's quite obvious what's happening, right? It's escalating. The war between Iran and Israel is escalating. Iran does not border with Israel, but Iran does have this Shiite string of countries. We're talking Iraq, Syria, Lebanon. And Lebanon borders with Israel. Syria borders with Israel. And so if Iran is going to invade Israel, it may just go through those countries, Lebanon and Syria, and it may invade Israel through the Golan Heights. Jordan is in deep trouble, I think. The Hashemite kingdom, I think, is in deep trouble because the Hashemites, while they are still in power, the Islamists in Jordan just dominated the most recent election in that country. So now they dominate the parliament. And it really does show that the pro-Palestinian Islamist sentiment in Jordan is dominating the society. Could we one day see a revolution in Jordan that will overthrow the Hashemites? It might just happen. And if the Islamists take over Jordan, then what would happen is Jordan will become a base of operations for Iran. And not only that, but a base of operations for Turkey, because it's really the Muslim Brotherhood that is behind, or really that is the foundational organization for these Islamists in the Jordanian parliament. Turkey is the big director of the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood is a part of Turkey, really. It's a proxy of Turkey, if you think about it. So if Turkey wants to have a war with Israel, it's going to more than likely just join forces with Iran. It's going to use Syria and Iraq as a base of operations. It's going to use Lebanon as a base of operations. And if they can have a successful toppling of the Hashemites in Jordan, it'll be a huge mess for Israel, because Israel shares a very small border with Syria. Israel shares a very small border with Lebanon, but Israel shares a huge border with Jordan. So if Israel's enemies can take over Jordan, that is a huge space by which to invade Israel. And it's just, however way you look at it, it just doesn't look good for Israel. China would eat those anime freaks. I disagree. I think you underestimate the Japanese. The Japanese have a very formidable military force as it is. And if they become an army of millions, they will be terrifying. It's not going to be good. Plus, all that anime, I think, makes you to a desensitized psychopath.